This is the inside of the Elddis Majestic 120. If I firstly come to the main control panel just here, I can turn the 12 volt on by flicking the master switch. Up here it will give you a voltage of the leisure battery. Next we have the entrance light on and off. All the other lights in the motorhome can be turned on and off on their own switches. We then have awning light on and off just here, and then water pump on and off just here. Whenever the water pump is in operation, the green light will illuminate to let you know, and the red one above it will illuminate when the grey water tank needs emptying. To see how much water is in the fresh tank, just hold the water button down and then go by the blue gauge. Directly beneath this we have the control panel for the whale heating and hot water. You'll see we have water heater at the top and heating at the bottom. So if I start with the water heater and I begin to press the button, you'll see at the moment we're off. As I press it, we go over a series of icons until we eventually end back at off again. So if we start with the first icon, wavy lines represent mains electricity. So as long as I'm now hooked up to the main supply, which I am, I'm now heating hot water at about 1 kilowatt. If I now press it again, I'm now using mains electricity using about 2 kilowatts. So these two settings here just dependent on the amperage of the site you're on to try and avoid tripping. If we have no main supply, I can put it onto gas. And if we have both power sources available to us, we can actually put it into dual fuel. This is very handy, especially in the winter months if you want to get up to temperature really quickly, or if there's going to be more than one of you having showers in quick succession of each other. Whenever the unit is consuming gas, you will get a little flame just appear here. And if there's a problem with the unit, you will get a red exclamation mark just appear just under where that flame has now just lit. To find out what the problem is, just hold the button down and you'll get a series of red lights along the bottom here. And then within the instruction manual, it will tell you what the problem is. If it's something that's very easy to rectify, like you've not hooked up to main supply or you've run out of gas, etc. Once you think you've rectified the problem, you will need to reset the control panel. And if it's a water heater issue, firstly hold the water heater button in and then press the plus button at the same time and it will then reset it. If it's a problem with the heating, again, just hold the button down to find out what the problem is. Once you've rectified it, again, just hold the button and press the plus at the same time. But as you can see, the water heater is now happily running on both main supply and gas. With the heating, works very similar. So again, we've got off, and then we've got one wavy line, which again is main supply, but this time at about 500 watts. Two wavy lines, 1 kilowatt, and then 3 wavy lines, 2 kilowatts. And then we have gas on its own again, and then the dual fuel setting. Control the temperature on the plus and the minus. Whale recommend dropping down to the little picture of the moon if you need your heating on at night time. It will keep the temperature at about 16 degrees, which is comfortable for sleeping, but secondly, the circulation fan will be nice and quiet. And again, whenever the unit is consuming gas, you will get a little flame just appear here. Freestanding table just here, and then we have the washroom just here. So we have the shower and the basin and the Thetford cassette toilet. the bowl does swivel about to open to the cassette. Just slide the lever across here and then push the flush on the top to make sure the water pump is turned on, or otherwise it will not flush, and then close back up again. If this has been left open and you try to remove the cassette from the outside, it will not come out. So if you do feel resistance, just make sure that nobody's left this open. Level indicator just here, so this will illuminate to let you know when the cassette needs emptying. Dometic fridge just here. So at the moment it is in the off position. If I want to run it on mains electricity, just turn it to the little picture of the 2-pin plug just there. After that we have a little picture of a battery, and this one is 12 volt maintain, so this is what we have it on to keep the fridge cold whilst on the move. The engine does need to be running for this to work. And then lastly, if we have no main supply, we can run the fridge on gas. And to do this, what we want is this little line here to drift out of the white into the green to indicate it is lit. So if we now come across to the temperature control, hold it in and then push the igniter. As you can see, it's now into the green, so I will now release, and as long as it stays there we know it's lit. If it falls back off again, just repeat the process. It can sometimes take a couple of goes, especially if a new gas bottle has been put on, as it needs to bleed the air out of the system. Push down to open. Then we have the fridge and the freezer compartment at the top, which can be removed. There are just 2 clips either side. And when on gas, as soon as you turn it to something else, it will automatically put itself back out again. Microwave just here, plugged in just up here. This will work when the motorhome is connected to main supply. To use the microwave, firstly press the eco button. This will then turn the unit on, and then we have all the usual quick start, stop just here, time set, etc. Auto cook at the top, defrost. Always advisable to remove all contents for travel. Beneath that we have the electric hot plate just here, so like the microwave will work when the motorhome is connected to mains electricity, and it operates just here, and the red light comes on to let you know it's in operation. We then have the 3 gas rings, and it's just push in, twist, and then push the igniter just here. And then beneath that is the oven and the grill. Push in to the left for the oven, and then to the right for the grill. Directly beneath the oven are some of the gas isolation taps. This one being for the cooker, the hob and the fridge, all in the on position, and quite frankly they can stay like that. I always say gas isolation taps are more for maintenance than anything else. If you do smell gas in the motorhome, go to the source and turn the gas bottle off. Also underneath here we have the water pump, and then tucked right at the back there is the isolator switch for the electric hot plate. Omnivent fan just here. To use, firstly wind the roof vent open, and then middle button turns the unit on, and then we have arrows out for extraction and arrows in for cooling. Variable fan speed just by pressing. Do make sure that all roof vents are down for travel. PIR sensor for the alarm, just press the button every now and then and the red light will flash, just indicating that it's working, as it does require batteries. And then do exactly the same again with both the smoke alarm and the carbon monoxide alarm, because again they both require batteries. Wardrobe just here, and in here we have the solar panel regulator just at the top there. We don't really need to do anything with this, it will just smart charge the batteries as it's required. And then beneath that we have the Snipe satellite system. So we have the power button just here. Once it's turned on and it goes through its little startup, you will then see a satellite displayed on here. You can switch between the satellites on the arrows just here. Once you've picked the satellite you require, then just hit OK, and then it will begin to search for the satellite. Once it's found the satellite, if you are using a television mounted here that has a built-in sat decoder, all you need to do is just from here just plug it into the television. Obviously if you're using a standalone box decoder, firstly lead from here to the decoder and then the decoder to the television. Always make sure that before you drive off that you press the home button. Let me just wait until it's finished finding the satellite first, because it will not let me put it away until it's done that. If I now hold the home button down, you'll see the home button is now flashing, and then the satellite dish is now putting itself back down again, as you do not want to drive off with it still in the up position. Just down here is the consumer unit. So we have all the main strip switches all along the top just here, and as you can see there, all the individual MCBs are all labelled up. Then we have the main RCD and test button just here. So if something's not working on main supply, just check to see if you've tripped. Directly beneath it are the 12-volt fuses, and again they're all labelled up. So if something's not working on 12 volt, just check to see if you've blown a fuse. If I now come to the rear bench seat just here and remove the cushions, and if I now just lift up, you can see that we have a good amount of storage. We then have the back of the battery box just here, and we have the main 12-volt fuse off the battery just here. Also in here we have the whale boiler, and to drain the whale boiler down for winterization, it's just done on the yellow lever just there. So before draining down, make sure that the water pump is turned off, and then just lift up on the lever and it will begin to drain all the water out of the boiler underneath the motorhome. I always suggest that if you are fully winterizing the van, that you then also open up all of the taps inside, because this will help release any airlocks in the system and help it drain down more efficiently. When it comes to refilling the boiler, close all the taps. Make sure the drain tap is in the locked position. Fill up the fresh water tank. Turn on the master switch and then turn the water pump back on, and it will then begin to prime the boiler back up. Let the water pump run for a few minutes and then begin opening the taps. They'll cough and splutter as they force the air out, and then once they're running freely on both hot and cold, reclose, and then the system will fully reprime itself. If I now come across to the other bench seat and again just remove the cushions, again we have some storage. We also have the location of the fresh water tank just here. You can gain access into it at this point just here to add cleaning powders etc. to it if you want to. With the beds, you can either have literally 2 single beds and virtually leave the cushions as they are at the moment, or you can have a small double bed or a large double bed. If you're going to have the small one, the chest of drawers just stays where it is, and then just pull the slats across and then just drop the cushions into place. Just like this. I personally flip the cushions over because they're less bumpy that way, but it is literally down to personal preference. And now if you want the larger double bed, to remove the chest of drawers, you will see just tucked down on either side there are just little straps. Just literally undo and pull out, and then it will then just remove itself. And now with the chest of drawers removed, you have a very large double bed. Both seats swivel around, as you can see, and they swivel on the lever just here. They're also both height adjustable on the levers just on the side just here.